Hello. Welcome back to our CSCI 434, our computer network. Okay. This will be our lecture for week one. Okay. But so far it's still kind of like introduction. Okay. So let's move on about this. Like we will talk about some networking, some like basics. Okay, related to it. So we'll talk about what's the some certificates, and then something what's the AI agents. Okay, and then let you know what's the network, and then what those like network devices. If you pay attention, okay, to different office location, you will find like different type of devices. Okay, this better. So for certification right here is like from Cisco, I think is pretty popular. Not only cybersecurity, even for computer network, they do have certain certifications that you can take in those exams. Okay, so they do cover like certain area. So if you're interested, if you wish to take those exam to get the certificate, you can like, focus on this area. Okay, including the network fundamentals, and then how the network access, including the IP connectivity connectivities services. Okay, and then the security fundamentals, and then the automation, and then the programmability, like this. Okay, so far will be the certification. Like if you're interested, um, you can like dive deeper later, like and check about it. And then the next one actually is a good topic nowadays. Related to AI or agent AI. Okay, right here, because right now we have so many different type of AI algorithm, and then even the network itself, like the routing, different policy. How can we integrate with the AI? Help it. Okay, helping. Okay, so also how can we use the AI to monitor the network? Okay, so right here, so that's like what they are doing. Okay, so but we need to really pay attention. Like we cannot 100% rely on the AI. Okay, so always being like thinking, check all the references, and then including critical thinking about what's the result. Are they really like really correct or not? Okay, there's a correctness. We need to be careful. And just quickly discussion about this one, then really move on. Okay, our topic is about what is the ask the question, what's a network? Okay, so in a network, we talk about so it's all the nuts and bolts so we can look at it. So billions of computing devices. When we talk about devices, sometimes we will talk about host. Okay, so it's a word always comes out appear. So it's called host. Okay, so it's an end system. Okay, and then we have some like running network apps. Internet. So it's be something called the edge. Okay, so be careful, like when we talk about what's the host, it's the end system. When we talk about some apps, maybe we can call it the edge. Okay, you see. And when we put them together, okay, so right here we have the package switcher. Okay, so we're going to like for the packages, okay, chunk of the data. Another keyword we talk about package. Okay, so when we're sending the data, we say it's a package because not only the data itself, but we are anchored with other information. Okay, different type of header. Okay, so that's like called a package. So later you will know more detail about what's a package meaning. And also we'll talk about what's the communication links. Okay, so including the fiber. Okay, so using light, right? So the copper, radio, so wireless, satellite. Okay, and we'll talk about the transmission rate. So we're using the bandwidth. Okay, and also the networks. Okay, so it's about the collection of the device. This is router links, so they're managed by an organization. So if you look at the picture right here, so in the network, okay, so we maybe have different type of communication link. Okay, sometimes with the wireless, satellites, with the copper, okay, optical fiber, okay. And within this, then maybe we have some like package or switcher, including later we have a router switch, okay. So all these. And then we have different like the host, okay, or the edge, okay, right here, and then including the like some service provider. Okay, so it create the internet. Okay, of course there are more like terms you will see. Okay, and Right here, there's some like internet connected devices. Okay, nowadays you see a lot some smart devices including like you see the Amazon Echo, some like surveillance like security camera. Okay, the internet phones, so they can call like through we call the VoIP, voice over IP. Okay, and then some refrigerator. Okay, lots of smart devices. Okay, some remote control. Okay, so actually, there's so many AR devices like Fitbands. Okay, so all these. So sometimes we talk about the IoT. Okay, if you know Internet of Things. So also it's the one of the big topic. Okay, for our discussion, but we need to know. And we so far when we talk about the internet, okay, internet, okay, so it's the network of networks, okay, create together, interconnected, okay, so we have different ISP. So if you see ISP, it is an internet service provider, okay, let's say if you know the AT&T, okay, Spectrum, all these, so Frontier, okay, so if they provide service, or maybe they connect together, and when we connect all these like hosts, edge, like all different devices, then we do need the protocols. Okay, protocol. What's the protocols? Okay, so it's like when we have to communicate. Okay, so we need to set up certain standards. Okay, so there's a protocol, so we can control sending, receiving a message. Okay, what they mean. So the good example, let's say we have the HTTP. Okay, for the website. For the streaming video. Okay, maybe we have the call like video call, Skype. Okay, or sometimes we talk about TCP, IP, Wi-Fi, 4G, 5G. Okay, even now they like maybe the Wi-Fi like 6G. Okay, more than that, Ethernet itself. So with different type of definition. And we're trying to giving standards, okay? So the RFC, okay, request of commands, okay, or the IETF, Internet Engineering Task Force. So we do have different types of standards that we have to meet if we want to, let's have certain protocol too. So all these like from the internet, okay, there's some keywords. And we do talk about the infrastructure. Okay, so infrastructure is that provides the service to the some applications, including the web. Okay, streaming. Okay, those videos, multimedias. Okay, email, gaming. So we have different infrastructure to provide service. Okay, and also we provide some like programming interface to distribute the application. Okay, so how this doing is like try to hook like what's the hook? So allowing so sending receiving apps to connect to each other like this. Then we can use the internet transport service. Okay, or we can provide some like service options. Okay, and then also postal service all this. So when you see like try to providing service like this sending. And also nowadays, lots of auto driving vehicles, vehicles, okay, they've connected. So all the infrastructure, okay, setting up. So here's all the pictures and keywords. Okay, so when we talk about protocol, okay, so when we in the communication as a human, okay, we have do some protocol. We talk, okay, so like asking time, what's the time of question, we have some like introduction, like how are you, like this, right? Then how about the network, the protocols? Okay, so those like computers, we say the host, okay, edge, those devices. Okay, what are the humans? So all this communication activity, so they have like governed by protocol. Okay, so the protocol is a key is like they define the format, orders of message. So they're being sent or received, okay, among the network's entities, and what the action taken on the message transmission or receipt. Okay, so like this. So it's the protocol. So one is the definition, but later you'll see more example. So one of really popular one, if you heard about like three-way handshaking, so it's the one. So at least in communication, like how can we start our talk? Okay, how can we start to confirm certain things? As a human, we say, okay, say hi, and then I got a reply, then we can start. Okay, so maybe just like, okay, if you need to find your friend to confirm, okay, when or where, which restaurant you're going. Okay, sometimes like you don't know if your friend is like talking to what you right now in this moment, right? So as a for the computer, it's the same. Okay, so if the computer need to communicate to the certain host, okay, so maybe we have certain different type of protocol too. So myself, maybe I say, okay, are you exist? Yes, we getting respond. Okay, so they're ready. Then we can start to get in certain information files. So there's a way. Okay, it's a protocol. So we need to define it. And quickly we knowing what's the devices. Then the next one is the network devices right here. Sometimes we talk about like client server. Okay, so client side. So as an endpoints or like the end host. So it can be like some general terms for device that communicate over the network. So we can set the client, but sometimes most of the time maybe we'll talk about some application edge. Okay, can be the client, server side, hosting. Okay, all those resources. Okay, and as a opposed to the network infrastructure devices, okay, that will be connect the end host. So this how it looks like client. So we're sending, okay, asking the server, okay. So we have the web server, right? And then maybe we have some like file server, email server, all this. So when we try to request something, then we will get the response. And when we try to set up the connection, then we do need the protocol. Then based on the your communication type, then maybe we need to use different type of protocol. That's how it works like client server. And one of the hardware we talk about switch. Okay, so switch is the only server like infrastructure over which communication, okay, can occur. So with it. And the host, they do not typically like, communicate with the switch itself. So if we need to communicate, let's say we have different device switch is okay, let's say device A need to send to device B, maybe device B need to send package to server A like this. Okay, so switch is helping us to set up a connection switching. If you know another term, it's called hub. Okay, hub is broadcasting. Okay, so it's the same to everyone, but switch is a more one-to-one. If you have some like router at home, okay, we even call it like the home router. Actually, it contains three parts. Okay, but main symbol. So routing, okay, so we just like routing the package. Okay, so later when you know the different layers of architecture, so you'll know more. But this one just like roughly. And then another, if you see the four switch like same color, so that one's a switch. Okay, so when you plug in your Ethernet cables, okay, so that one's switch. And then the third part is the wireless. Okay, so actually even the home router we call it a router. Actually, it contains like three components. Okay, and the next one, we move on the router. So it's the edge of the LAN. Okay, so right here, router. So it's communicate between the LANs and the external networks. So here's the router right here and router. So if you look at your home or other location, you see there's a router. So there's a internet. Okay, so in the network inside and then external. So that one defined by the router. Okay, so different offense, and then we connected by the router, so we can like knowing where they're going. Are they like sending internally or going out? Okay, so here's the what the function router do. But actually, it does have more other function. Okay, but this one's like have a give you a quick picture about what's the router doing. Next, another word is they use is firewall. Okay, so we set the firewall so it can separate the hardware applicants. Okay, so it serves as a purpose like similar to the like home-based firewall too. Like let's say we have the Windows firewall, but we can say more like in like larger scale too. So we can inspect all the traffic. So entering and existing. So we have that called inbound or outbound. Okay, so we can say like maybe we can design, okay, so like what are those like package, what's the destination IP, okay, which range or port should we allow, deny? So based on all this like configuration, okay. So if let's say we don't want let's say in the campus, the school don't want the student access certain website, so we can just like block, okay, so deny, okay. We also sometimes say reject the connection from certain IP address. Okay, and then or certain domain, okay. Or if the school don't want the student access like certain devices inside, okay, maybe they can also use that firewall to isolate. So here's the idea of firewall, okay. And sometimes we can depends on the devices. Some device specific, like for doing the functions as a firewall, or some like maybe if you know some home router, so they also have a function like you can set up the firewall. Okay, so all this, if you do have a chance, please take a look and check it. Okay, earlier. But later, if we have time, we will go through about that. And here will be the big pictures showing here as a LAN. If you heard the term, LAN is called the local area network. Okay, inside right here. And we do have some like called the DNS. Let's say the DNS translate the URL to mapping like from the um domain to the IP address, right? So when you type, let's say go to google.com, or like let's say the release website, okay, so that one will convert to the IP address, okay, internet. And then the router, okay, so right here we based on the maybe the IP address, okay, so right here forwarding, so it's internal or external, so when we're going out, okay. And also sometimes maybe we'll provide some like redundant connections to the internet. So in case we have the failure, okay, so false, then we can like connect it um like by switching another connection. So it's a pretty common in maybe some office, okay. So at least they maybe have to like external connection for the internet. And also there's some ether channels like they can combine the two physical connection. Okay. Or sometimes we will set the tunneling to like make it some, so it's more advanced level to setting. Or we have some the multi layers like switch combine the functions of a router switch. And nowadays, if you look at some router or like a switch, they have called the level 2 switch or level 3 switch. We'll talk about the layer architecture um, later, but well, you just need to have a rough idea. Know, okay, even switch. When we see like online, if you need to buy a switch online, we see oh, what's the layer 2 meaning, what's the layer 3 meaning, and then why is more expensive. Okay, so there's some idea. And another switch you say is allow the devices like to connect to the network and also using a MAC address. Okay, so here's a hint like why we talk about like level 2 or level 3. So it's based on the MAC address, okay. And also one thing called the DHCP, okay. Also, the sometimes with the snooping or the DHCP server, okay, they design to assign the IP, okay, based on the MAC address or randomly, so all this. And of course, we do have different type of like wireless access point, okay, so allow the device to connect to the Wi-Fi, and also with some a wireless LAN control manager to manage the wireless access point, and then the voice over IP, VoIP. So if you know that telephone, so or here can we say, or like we have called the PoE, called the power over internet. So we can use the Ethernet cable to transmit the power electricity. So you know, right now maybe lots of smart device, okay, maybe cameras, okay, maybe some WLP phone, okay. So all this you just need to put in the Ethernet, then you are okay to able to access the internet and with the power. So you don't have to like public another power adapter. Okay, so here's the what's the PoE. Okay. So far here the big picture showing was the LAN and all connected together working. So big picture. So if you still not catch it, then later combine what you learn detailed and then you can form this picture again. Okay. And if you heard about GoDaddy is the providing is a service you can buy in the domain. Okay, so all this domain hosting. So you can see here they call the data center. So all this will be their server, or sometimes you can use it. So they are providing one is that you can use it for as a hosting. What's a hosting? That means you can host a server, can use for website. Okay, maybe some other applications. Okay, and or GoDaddy itself too. So also it also provide servers. That means they do have their own server, their website server like this. Okay, so that's how the data center looks like. And for the data center, like then only because they always generate huge amount of heat. So also how to doing cooling or like a backup, like avoid a failure. Okay, all this is a big topic, but just have a idea how this data center like doing. And then when they connect to it, they use net data center right here. So you see a bunch of cable connect together, well organized. Okay, so it's really good. And the different like switch, okay, maybe router, okay. So all this help you to find all your package. That's how it looks like. And also here is like one is called the MDF, the main distribution frame. Okay, and then they put it together and the intermediate distribution frame room. So how it looks like. Okay, so right here you see all they connected. Okay, and they're like Catalyst 9K core switch. Here's a switch for server room. So you see here the Ethernet command, and then they can like switch all the connects. So the picture, and then another one we talk about the ports. Okay, so the ports actually physically is a hot the hardware port. Okay, so when we put in this a port. Okay, so put in the port. So which port did you put in? So it's a hardware part we talk about. And also we have some like called the redundant IP core router. Okay, so extra. So we say identical and then just like for backup for failure right here. More pictures. Cisco is a CRS, okay, one the multi-shelf system. So you see right here, all the server data is really sometimes when we talk about server, you can imagine it. If you have no idea, I say, okay, to imagine just your desktop, okay, just like desktop. But because for really specific for the data center, okay, for the server, then it will look really different. Okay, for their function, okay, setup. So we have the so like it's a box like this, okay, including the CPU, motherboard, okay, different port right here, their function switch. So that's how they looks like. Okay, so just have some like rough pictures. So quickly for this like introduction week. Okay, so we know some keywords, we know mainly what's in the network, what's the host, we do some standards, we do need protocols. Okay, so provide for different based on the different service, so we require different protocol. In network, also we have some like really some hardware, right, devices, including like the current servers, switch, router, firewall. And so far, quickly we just go through all these some keywords. Okay, and that's it for our first week introduction. And I will try to post the videos and then you can watch it. Okay, so every week. Okay, I will try my best to upload the video as soon as possible. Okay, so but because it's synchronized, so I will upload all the slides first. Okay, so you can watch it and take a look. And I will also record the video so you can watch it too. So maybe if you're not watched, then um you can wait until I post the videos. Okay, so I will try to make it a record so you can find those video available on D2L soon. Okay, record the video and also the YouTube. Okay, so you can find under the course um under this course, so you can find it. Okay, and thank you.